Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Firebelly Social Show. I'm your co-host, Duncan Alney. Welcome. And I got Arnell Mitchell in the house. Arnell, what's up?
Hey, everyone. What's up? Thanks for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Ruth, CEO of consulting firm CCD Innovation. And it's a really great show. I'm super excited about it today. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more excitement and community around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
You guys, I'm so excited. Our guest today is the CEO of CCD Innovation. It's a women-owned business with 30 years of experience, 30 years creating innovative food and beverage products. And they've got a team of skilled product developers and all kinds of culinary training combined with food science, and they bring their speed, agility, and excellence to the table. And we're going to get into all that, but let's first please welcome Ruth Halpern. Ruth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. And let's start out by just getting a little bit into what CCD Innovation is.
Great. We're called an innovation agency, and our clients come to us when they need help creating a delicious new packaged food or beverage product. Our clients range from Fortune 100 to startups, and what they have in common is that they want to be genuinely innovative and they want the results to be delicious. So we go into gear and we use our special sauce is our Chef's Council. So the Chef's Council is a group of over 100 chefs from every culinary and cuisine of the world. They have expertise from baking to confection to mixology, and they might be restaurant owners or cookbook authors. Some of them are celebrity chefs. And we handpick groups of 3 to 5 chefs for each individual project. In choosing the chef, sometimes it's really obvious. We're doing a baked project, so we need a baker. But often we'll pick someone who's tangentially associated with a particular product, but is going to bring new insight from somewhere beyond. And the job of the chefs is to inspire. So we give them some guidelines, and they go off and create tasteable samples that involve innovating within the guardrails that we've defined. And then when they bring them into the group consists of our team plus our clients plus the chefs. Everybody's tasting actual samples so that there's never a concept that's just on paper. It's always people talking about food passionately. And the goal with those chefs is not that they provide an answer to whatever their client has asked for, but that they provide inspiration. And maybe one chef has this amazing texture in what they presented, and another one has managed to include some ingredients that we really want to focus on. Maybe there's a good texture in a third sample. Together, we identify what those are, and then our internal product development team is the one that translates the chef's inspiration into something that's commercially viable through their work on the bench. So inspiration from the chefs, and then execution from our internal team, and the result is something that people will want to eat more than once. And our guiding principle is the power of taste, that something has to taste good or people will not return for the second bite. That's a bit of our background. We typically engage with our clients on a project basis that could be anywhere from 8 weeks to 16 weeks, depending on the complexity of the project. And we're very interactive. So we're always looking for people who want a truly collaborative, communicative relationship throughout the whole innovation journey.
That's so cool. I love the fact that you called it an innovation journey. And the other thing that just really stands out to both of us is the fact that you said commercially viable. I mean, talk a little bit about that. I mean, what's that like? You're working with founders, as far as the startup piece is concerned, you're working with people, they're visionaries, right? And you got to come in and say, but, is okra coffee really commercially viable? So,
well, there's two levels to the commercially viable. One is, does anybody actually want this? And we do offer consumer research to help answer that question. And then the other is, when we take this delicious cookie formula that you've been making in your kitchen, and we take it into the plant, is it still going to run properly? Is it going to melt? Is it going to ooze? Is it going to clump? Those are all problems that we have the expertise to solve. And frankly, that's always where the challenges are. That commercialization step is a true transformation, and it doesn't always execute successfully on the first run. So when we're working with startups, part of our role is to educate them about the challenges that lie ahead. We really see ourselves as the guides on an innovation journey, and every journey is unique, and every journey will have some bumps. But we keep on that long term, which is something that can be mass produced, that people want, that is delicious. And then our other big focus is on speed. So we can innovate quickly. And one of the methodologies that we use for that is we bring in what we call sophisticated consumers, people who think of themselves as attuned to food, who know how to talk about food. We give them samples of what we're developing, and then based on their feedback in the same session, we go to the kitchen, we refine the formulation, and we bring it back so they can taste it a second time. So maybe they said they wanted something sweeter and fruitier, but then when they taste it, they're like, oh no, it still needs some more tartness. Because we can't always articulate what we're looking for, sometimes we have to taste it. So we call that consumer co-creation.
Very cool. What would you say are some of the food and beverage brands' biggest roadblocks in general? Would you say that it's that, learning that their recipe doesn't necessarily work? What do you find as far as startups go? What gets in their way most?
Well, if we're focused on startups, I would say what gets in their way most is that they don't know what they don't know. And so there are questions that we can help them surface that may have to do with, for example, minimum order quantities, MOQs. If they don't have a relationship yet with the co-manufacturer, they may be thinking, oh, I just want to test this. Maybe it'll be a farmer's market run. I just want to do 1,000 of whatever the product is. But they may not realize that because of the type of product, no manufacturer is going to want to do a run for them for fewer than 5,000. Right? So that's part of the education process that we help walk them through. And I would say that's probably the biggest challenge. And in a sense, we have two kinds of startup clients, those who are brand new to consumer packaged goods and those who have come from the CPG industry, maybe from a large company, and have their own idea. And they're going to approach it very differently because of their background.
That's interesting. So the startup client or the startup journey is going to be filled with passion and maybe speed and agility. What's that Fortune 100 journey look like?
Well, that's it flips things in a couple of ways. For one, we're talking about people who live and breathe their brand usually. So often our partners as we kick off a project are either in marketing or they're directors of innovation. They have a deep understanding of what their brand currently is, and they want to explore maybe how it could expand, how it could translate to a younger generation. But that deep knowledge and the fact that they are usually already present in the market changes the questions that they're asking. Their roadblocks often are fear, meaning fear of innovation. So they say, let's expand, let's think outside the box, but actually they want to stay slightly inside the box. But often that is part of the discovery process on the journey. And then the other roadblock is that often there's complex bureaucracy that makes it harder for them to move quickly. And by bringing us in, we can do that quick and agile development, bring in decision makers and have everybody taste together. And when the rationale behind the innovation is clear, it's easier for people to say yes to it. And it's also easier for us to give them metrics to assess their risk tolerance and decide how far are we willing to go beyond what we've tried before.
That's a beautiful, I've not heard that before, risk tolerance and associating that with vision and strategy. So you might have a great strategy, you might have some vision, and you have a lot of risk tolerance, or maybe you have a lot of vision and no risk tolerance. So how do you bring all those together? That's really great. I feel like we should use that in our own work. Arnel, thank you for the inspiration.
Of course. Yeah, no, I think it's a really important piece of self-understanding.
And I think I heard you say earlier, or maybe I read it on your website, but you talk about white space. And is white space different for a Fortune 100 company and a startup? Is the way they look at white space different?
Absolutely. With startups, they tend to come to us with already a pretty clear-cut idea. Now, they may not know the rest of the competitive landscape, but they are working on a high-protein product, or they're working on a plant-based product. And so they tend to start there, kind of with their focus on what they want to create, and they need to learn more about the landscape around them. When we do white space innovation for Fortune 100 companies, often the starting point is, let's look at the universe of what's already in the grocery store and see if we can find gaps that are consistent with our brand and where there's a need that we can identify and fill. That's how we explore the white space for them.
And just so that maybe if there's a listener or two that doesn't understand what white space is a potential demand in the marketplace that's either real or nascent, and that there's not a product to fill it.
Thank you. That's a great definition. Yes, absolutely. Or there's a product that says it is filling the need, but it isn't.
Right.
That's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Mel, you had a question?
Yeah. So what's coming up next for CCD Innovation? Before we got started, you had mentioned the Taste with Purpose. So tell us a little bit about that and maybe some other things that are coming up.
Great. I would love to. So Taste with Purpose is our new division focused on working with both startups and large companies on products for people, good for the planet, sustainable, and delicious. And we created the new division because we wanted to be able to give our full focus to those kinds of products. We really care about increasing the quality of good nutrition in the marketplace. And there are a lot of people trying very hard to do that who are focused very much on the nutritional side and lose track of the taste side. And we want to bring those together. So that's our Taste with Purpose initiative. The other thing we're doing to help startups is, in addition to doing project-based work where someone says we want to do 3 new cold beverages that are shelf-stable, that we also offer a retainer service where we can help with an ongoing product pipeline, either doing product refinement or being sort of a sounding board for ideas, or troubleshooting when people get into the plant and are facing challenges where they may not have a specific project in mind, but they want to draw on our brain trust. Because with 30 years of experience, we've worked in every aisle of the grocery store. We also work with quick serve restaurants and fast casual. So in all of those settings, there may be ways that our breadth of experience can help someone who has deep experience in just one category.
That's really fascinating. And I guess let me ask you this question: is there a success story that you could share with us from both of those worlds, the startup world and the Fortune 100 world?
Absolutely. Let's start with startups. So we did a project a couple of years ago with a group called Good Fish. And what they did is they identified an unused part of salmon that they wanted to turn into a snack product, and it is salmon skin. So just the way we have pork cracklings made from pork skin, they wanted to make a crispy salmon skin snack. And that's what Good Fish is. So we worked with them on the process of processing those salmon skins, getting the scales off, getting them all prepared and ready, and then coming up with, we started with 3 SKUs of, small individual packet, crunchy, salty, delicious snacks. And in the process, of course, we also got to work with them on the story of a part of the fish that would normally just go into pet food that is now being upcycled, as we like to say, and moved into a human audience. And the process itself, the development of the snack prototypes took less than 3 months, but getting it into the plant and getting it successful in the plant was easily another 3 to 5 months.
Wow.
And we were part of that whole journey.
That's very cool.
I love it. It's such a valuable contribution to an entrepreneur's journey.
Yeah.
It's completely invaluable, to have that support and also innovation, right there next, working with you. What about that Fortune 100 side?
I'd love to tell you about that.
Yes.
So Mondelez of Snack fame has created a subdivision called Snack Futures specifically for innovation and coming up with new ideas. And they came to us and said, all right, we want to do something for kids that can go in their lunch boxes that parents can feel good about. And the idea that we came up with was frozen smoothies. So small bottles, that the parent puts into the lunchbox frozen, and by lunchtime, it has thawed. And it's icy cold, it's refreshing, it's kept everything else in the lunchbox cold, and kids love to drink it. Now it's packed with fruit and healthy ingredients, but the kids are just saying, hooray, I'm getting this thing that feels like a smoothie in my lunch. And that was a case where we started with white space. All we knew was kids. And we identified this niche, we created the product, we did a round of co-creation where we brought actual children to our testing facility. And as they tasted and gave us feedback, we reformulated and they tasted again. And then we partnered with the Snack Futures agency that was doing the branding and the packaging, which is not something we do, and turned around this product and got it on grocery store shelves in 18 months. For Mondelez to do it themselves, it could have easily taken 3 years. So highly accelerated.
That's really cool. Especially, we had just had a founder come on our podcast, David from Seed Ranch, and he was just mentioning how difficult of a critic kids are. And he's used his kids as his, control groups for his plant-based mac and cheese brand, which was really cool. But they can be very picky. And I just love the innovation of, just the product itself. You even mentioned, using it to cool off your lunch and then keep your lunch cool. So I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah, I think kids, are great because there's no, dishonesty with their feedback. And so I suppose that's very, very similar to a consulting firm like yours, right? It's like, we're going to tell you the truth. Maybe we'll sugarcoat it, or maybe we won't, right? So I love that. Are there any success stories that come to mind?
Well, the Snack Futures and Good Fish are 2 of my favorites.
Oh, good. Good.
One other one that might interest people is that we were involved in Morgan Spurlock's second documentary, which is called Supersize Me 2, in helping him formulate a delicious chicken sandwich. So that was really exciting because we're in a movie. That's always fun. But more to the point, what we created was something that people really wanted to come back and taste more of. So that's an example of a fast casual concept where it was fried chicken. We came up with a vegetable slaw topping and a custom sauce. And those essentially recipes were the deliverables. And then Morgan went off, as he did, and created a chicken farm and did a whole bunch of other steps in his journey. But the end result was a pop-up that lasted for about a week in a trial setting in Ohio, I believe, where he built out a little restaurant and he served the chicken sandwich he created. And people liked it so much that he got approached to set up a franchise. So that was a really fun success story. And there's a little 90-second clip towards the beginning of the movie that really illustrates our process really beautifully.
Well, this has been fascinating, Ruth. I love we always make it a point to tell our guests about the fact that we admire them, and which is why we invite them to come join us. And we admire not just the work they're doing, but the spirit that they bring to the table, the courage, to do what they do and making the world a better place. So thank you for doing that. How can people find you?
Great question. We are right there on the internet, ccdinnovation.com. And I should mention, we are known as CCD Innovation. Our founding name was the Center for Culinary Development, because culinary arts are at the heart of everything we do. So all of our product developers are both culinary chefs and food scientists. And we really want to bring together the art and the science of making delicious food. So you can find us at ccdinnovation.com. We're also on LinkedIn under CCD Innovation. And we have an Instagram account, also CCD Innovation. Any of those pathways will lead to us.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing your journey with us. And this has been the Firebelly Social Show, where we feature visionary leaders and founders of food and beverage brands that are on a mission. And so this made perfect sense today. Arnell, you want to take us out?
Absolutely. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more excitement and community around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Ruth. It's been great having you, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you and hearing about your future adventures. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you on
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.